Hello, one and all. How are we all on this fine and dandy Saturday night? For some reason, I had Enter Sandman stuck in my head. Ugh, I ran out of time to think. I got to do a couple things to get ready. Okay, hi Luke and Luke. That was Facebook Luke and YouTube Luke, obviously. Okay, I just gotta do this. Rinse this glass. Rinsing. All right, I'm gonna do this. Okay, I'm gonna move that. That's what I gotta do. That's what I gotta do. All right, hope that stays there. What else I gotta do here? Be difficult. All right. All right. Couple of things I needed to do. Hello, Stella. I haven't seen you for a little while. Hello, Mega Leech. Cruising through. Oh, I need to send Aidsy the link. He may or may not be able to join us. We shall see. Aidsy, get your email right here. Whew. Okay, so that message is sent. And now I'll send him a text message to tell him I send him that message, because that's the way these things go. And because I've been slack, I should have sent. I just got distracted. I should have sent this to him about half an hour ago. So it'll probably take him a while to get on here. But with AZ, you can never tell. He defies expectations. That's probably the central thing about him, is he defies expectations. Oh, yeah, Stella, the WA time difference. So is it like at 6 p.m.? And I lose track of the time. Oh, that was a reply from him, which was quick. But there's often a gap between when he replies and when he actually shows up. Luke, who went to the beach? Too many people. Dan Andrews is disappointed. I tell you who's disappointed in you. The Victorian Chief Health Officer. He went to town. He's not fucking around. So basically warning people that... gonna be crackdown if you can't do it. Still, I took the dogs for a swim at the dam. Look, it's perfectly fine so long as you're social distancing. What we found, and this happened in both Sydney and Melbourne, and I don't know where else, people going to the goddamn beach when they're meant to be bloody social isolating. And they didn't. 5 p.m, it's 3 hours now. Okay, for the daylight saving. Does that change this weekend? Changes soon. And then we'll be back to only a 2-hour time difference between the East Coast and the West. Oh, that's bad side. For no reason I yawned. And that could be the dam breaking. I have a bad habit. If I yawn once, I just keep yawning. But hey, it's a Saturday night and we're isolated. I'm going to make cocktails like it is. I actually have to taste test some things because Mrs. Angry and I are going to have our next date night at home because, of course, everywhere's closed. But we are going to make an occasion of it. We're going to set a table, have candles, and I'm setting up a cocktail menu. So there's a selection, and I have a couple ideas, but I actually don't know what they taste like. So over the next week, I've got to taste test a few, and I'm going to start now. I'm going to get this blue vodka out again that I had last night. So that's in the fridge. What are these things from? Oh, it's not just Dan Murphy's. Other places have them. That has all dried fruits and sugar and stuff in it, and you pour booze in and you get a flavored drink. Although I didn't think it was that flavored. I thought it just tasted like vodka when I was drinking it. What am I looking for? Where's my... Oh, is it in the dishwasher? I just think my mixing glass is in the dishwasher. Might be. There's my cocktail shaker. That's in there. And my jigger. Wo ist meine... Oh, there's my thing. Sorry, off camera. I'll be back soon. For stirring. Just got to get my gear. My cocktail mixing glass, my cocktail shaker, my cocktail measuring stick. Measuring stick? Why did I say stick? And my filter. Ah. Okay, that's pretty terrible. I'll be fine. Okay. So, got a few things ready. Still reading ABC article titled, "There are better ways of coping with the stress than drinking." No, there aren't. There really aren't. Again, it's Saturday night. If you can't have a drink on this, I'm trying not to drink during the week, at least not every night. You can't have a drink on a Saturday night. What's the point? The communists win. Right, so I've got to get a couple things ready for this. I want a big chunk of ice. Big old chunk of ISO. Fucking hell, I can just see a disaster happening there. Okay, you go there. Fuck. You just see something going wrong. Big chunk of ice for the mixing glass. Some people would put 2 in. I don't know. I think it's overkill. The other ones don't even touch the drink, so you go in there. Right. This went away on me again. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, the Blue Heaven, 2 ounces of vodka, Cointreau and elderflower. That's what I need to get. Cointreau. Where's my elderflower? Where are you, elderflower? You should be here. There you are. My elderflower. All right. First drinky poo is ready. Well, I need a spoon to stir it. Of course I do. Because only an animal would stir it with their finger, and I'm not an animal. Okay, there's my stirring spoon. God, now I'm all together. Okay, so. Ooh, Bengalucci is having Pepsi and bitters. Nice. Maybe some weed. Yeah, I thought it was funny when I looked up, is today a day of something? And there was a website that said it was Weed Appreciation Day. And I said, surely that's 420. 2 ounce, 1 ounce, half ounce. Okay. But yes, it's not about the devil's weed. It's about acknowledging that many plants that are called weeds are actually beneficial. They're good environmentally and they have uses. So there you go. Today is Weed Appreciation Day. This will do. All right. Okay, so it's funny if you look up, cocktail recipe for a Blue Heaven, there are actually lots of different recipes that all get called Blue Heaven. And I've come up with my own one. A lot of them, they say to use blue curacao for the coloring. And but I've got blue vodka, so I don't need blue curacao, which I don't actually have because it's a silly drink. But it's an orange liqueur, so that's why I'm doing Cointreau for some orange flavor. And yes, I found a recipe that suggested a little bit of elderflower as well. So put a little bit of the elderflower in here. This sounded good, but I've never actually made it. so I don't know what it tastes like. So I have to give it a taste test to see if it's worthy of being a date night drink. Stella, you don't appreciate the double G's in your yard. Okay. I presume that's a weed I've never heard of, given the context of the conversation. So we've got to stir this down for a bit, get it nice and cold, and because it's all booze, there's nothing to dilute it, so it's okay for the ice to melt a bit and dilute it a little bit, take the edge off. That's probably enough. It's probably enough stirring. And I put my martini glass in the freezer to chill it. So I will just carefully get it out because I'm more than mildly paranoid about breaking it. That didn't work. I'll put that there. All right. So, and now to taste test the drink. Ooh, tastes interesting. It's pretty good. Get my little strainer here in my very stylish mixing glass. And the only thing I've got to strain out is the ice, really. All right, says my Blue Heaven vodka, orange, and elderflower. And let's see what this is like. I think AIDS is here. Oh, yeah, that's good. And AIDS is here. I'll bring AIDS on.
All right.
Hello, AIDS. Got
Hey,
your food.
Yes, I'm having dinner.
Luke saying how many people in Australia have coronavirus now. I think it's about 3,000. I was just say here's a fun tweet from the Victorian Chief Health Officer who's fucking pissed off. This is from a little bit earlier today. He said, some of this behavior today when we're asking people to stay home has been really crap. It's hard to change habits and it's hard to see dangers that aren't apparent yet. But with 3,000 cases of COVID in Australia this week, we're headed to 100,000 in 2 to 3 weeks without change. That means thousands of deaths, overwhelmed health services, medical staff at unacceptable risk, unstoppable spread. Do the right thing now and stay at home. Today, tomorrow, until we're through this. So he's just straight down the line, like, fuck you all, stay home. Because I'm going to say the big scary number that no one's been willing to say. And it's coming soon, not at the end of winter, in a couple of weeks. That's, again, the whole thing about exponential growth in mathematics. People don't get it. Exponential growth basically means it isn't a disaster until it is. And that change happens like that. You go, that's still manageable. That's still manageable. That's still manageable. Fuck me. That's not.
Now it's not.
No.
And now it's just not.
Yeah.
It's all over now. Sorry. And everyone throws up their hands and goes, "Wah, make it better." It's like, no.
And then apparently today's panic was Bunnings. I saw a picture on Twitter. Someone had posted a picture. There's this massive line out the door at Bunnings, and it's sort of packed full. And they had security on like all entrances and exits to control people getting in. And of course, the people weren't standing a couple meters apart from each other. They were bunched up in a line. It's just like, fuck me. And so I saw another example of how bad this is. There was a story from New York, a community choir met, and this was a couple of weeks ago when there was no severe restrictions in place, as a 60-person choir. And they said, okay, if you're sick, don't come. Nobody there displayed any symptoms. And they made sure they didn't touch, they didn't hug, they didn't shake hands. There was no tongue kissing, which is anyone who's been in a choir knows that's a thing that happens.
Yeah. Before
Yeah.
and after.
Yeah.
And the mid gig blow is just
Exactly, right?
mandatory. Mandatory.
Yeah. So this choir, and this was somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks ago, 60 people met, took precautions that were probably one step ahead of what was being advised publicly at that point. Of the 60, 45 have now got the Rona and one has died.
Right.
So it's just a little microcosm that just goes, maybe 3 people had it and didn't know because they had no symptoms whatsoever. And a couple of weeks later, shit's fucked, Joe.
Yeah.
And how many other people did those people who had been exposed to interact with in the intervening weeks? This is what we mean by exponential growth, people. This is why we don't gather in groups, because it's all fucked up. So, but Dan Andrews is very disappointed, and I think he made it really clear he won't even say what stage 3 is until he puts it in, because he knows it'll be another wave of panic buying. Because stage 3 is no, fuck it, you're locked down. You will actually be stopped by the cops if you're
on
out.
the streets. Yeah.
And if you are not on a direct route from your home to the supermarket, or because you're a necessary worker, you're going to get booked.
Yeah.
And in an extreme case, you'll actually be arrested. If you fuck with us, we'll actually lock you up. But he doesn't want to say that because he knows the day he says this is what's in force as of tomorrow, another wave of insanity happens with the panic buying. But I reckon within a couple of days, if I was a day ago, before seeing Dan Andrews talk yesterday and today, I would have said, it might be a week until the lockdown. I mean, no, 2-3 days max.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be locked down, and I've got food in the house. This is the thing. I'm still working because I'm working from home, and that's weirding me out a bit because everyone's going, "What are you doing to keep busy?" Work, motherfucker. I've got a job, and
the job and that.
And I'm at home, but I got a job. And what do you do with this shit I normally do in the evening? I don't go out. I fucking don't socialize. I'm with my family. I'm watching TV. I'm playing on the internet. In fact, I'm doing, if we count this as socializing, and I do, this is socializing. I'm now doing a shit ton more socializing because I think it's good for us and can stop us going stir crazy if we do this. Yeah, Stella, I've heard that because Stella's in mining zone. The FIFOs, the fly-in, fly-outs that haven't been stopped. And it's just like, dude, that is like the worst fucking idea ever to keep having all the fly-in, fly-outs flying in and flying out. It's like dumb as shit. You have to stop them at one end or the other. You either have to say, you know what, we're setting up accommodation, you're staying on site, or you don't have a job. Those are the two choices.
You're living in the dongers, or you're taking your 3-month holiday now.
G'day, Dave. The cunts say g'day.
G'day, Dave.
Oh yeah, okay. Megaleech does raise the obvious point. We're only talking about confirmed cases. So the actual number of cases in the community, I think somewhere between 10 and 40 times that number is realistic. And everyone who comes in from overseas gets locked in a hotel now. I think some people are being uncharitable because locked in a hotel have been locked in there for a couple of days, and they're saying this kind of sucks. It's like prison. They're in a nice hotel.
It's a nice hotel,
and they're locked in the room, and they cannot go out of the room. And I think people are being a bit uncharitable. I mean, like if they whine and moan like this is the worst, most unjust thing to happen in the history of civilization, I'd tell them to settle down. But if they're just saying this is prison-like and it's creepy and I don't like it, I think those are reasonable statements. You are literally being locked in a room that you can't get. Might be a nice room, you get meals brought to you. But
but where's the bellhop that comes and punches you in the back of the head and then makes you drop the soap? Huh? Where's that?
I was just thinking, you won't relate to this at all, Aidsy, but imagine being shut in a single room that you're not allowed to go out of, that people won't let you leave that single room, and that's just where you just can't relate. You don't know what that's
I
like.
have no idea what any of that is like,
No.
and you can't prove it.
Can't tell
Just
sarcasm.
saying.
Aisy's in a one-room apartment, and he's not allowed to leave because he's immunocompromised, boss of the house, and his doctor said,
Mind you, I've been out 4 times today. No, I lie. Twice.
Don't say that.
No, twice. I've been out twice. And they were both actually both necessary trips. So it was all very boring. It wasn't even very saucy. It wasn't all very naughty to go out. It was all very, I've got to go out now. And I've got to do this. And I've got to do that.
Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Doesn't he, though?
Yeah. That was a John Wayne line, wasn't it? It was just like random where he's got to do something. Why do you have to do it? Because man's got to do what a man's got to do.
It was a John Wayne line, but I can't remember what movie it was out of.
Trying to think of good Western lines now. I love classic lines from Westerns.
Yeah. Yeah, like, don't ever tell me the odds.
Man's got to do what a man's got to do. I've got to find it. Now I want to know what movie it's from. God, apparently it's a Jonas Brothers song. What the fuck is that about? Jonas Brothers, why are you treading on John Wayne's fucking toes? Okay, this thing from the Cambridge Dictionary will probably explain it. No, that was useless. I'm going to add John Wayne to the search, and then I'll probably tell us. John Wayne. What was it from? From Hondo, yes. Which was a super weird name for a Western.
Hondo?
Yeah.
How many miles to the gallon did it get? I shouldn't have done that. I'm ashamed of myself and others.
Well, there you go.
So Hondo, and he said it because what was he going to kill himself or others or Indians or Cherokees
I'm looking for the quote. Man's got to do what a man's got to do. He said in Hondo. Jesus, really? What he actually says in Hondo is a man ought to do what he thinks is best. And some people think it's from the Alan Ladd film Shane, which is an absolute fucking classic. And there are 2 lines in Shane. I couldn't do what I got to do if I hadn't always known that I could trust you, which is a great sentence.
It is a
line says, man must be what he is. So no one actually said that. Someone, like a comedian, probably said it in a routine about John Wayne. John Wayne didn't say, my fucking mind is blown right now. Jesus. Okay. What's David's finding it a surreal... Oh, yeah. The lines on shopping centres. I don't know if that's at your local shopping centre, Aidsy, but it is in mine. They've put lines and they've put X's like one person should stand here and one person should stand here. Oh, Strictly Sega has got a quote that someone reckons he says it in Stagecoach. Okay, I'm going to add that to the quote. All right, we'll go back and we'll put Stagecoach in and see what comes up. Okay, yeah, now this is saying it's in Stagecoach. Let's have a look. Load page. What are you doing? Man's got to do what a man's got to do. He's credited with staying in Stagecoach, but what he actually said, the line in the screenplay is, there's some things a man just can't run away from. Okay. So, Strictly Sega, you actually had another apocryphal one. It's apocryphal. He never said it.
Yeah, all right.
Ricky, how's it going, buddy? Yeah,
Who,
so
me?
what?
Nothing.
Okay, good. It's funny looking up a man's got to do what a man's got to do. I ended up on this page of movie quotes you're getting wrong, and it is kind of funny. Sometimes they're really subtle, like one word. If you say one word wrong, I don't think that counts as misquoting it. But the fact
No.
that he never said anything like a man's got to do what a man's got to do. But yeah, also in Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, people often say the Queen said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" But she actually says, "Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all?"
That's what she says. Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
No, fairest one of all. So there's
one of all. Yeah, one of
in the
all.
way
That's right.
most people think it is, there's actually two misquotes.
Mm.
The odd line, "Badgers, we don't need no stinking badgers," which is reputed to be from Treasure of the Sierra Madre, 1948 film. The actual line is, "Badgers, we ain't got no badgers. We don't need no badgers. I don't have to show you any stinking badgers." So that's very different. Play It Again, Sam, from Casablanca. Nobody said.
Play it, Sam. You played it for her, now play it for me.
Yeah. So Ingrid Bergman says, "Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by." And later Humphrey Bogart says, "You played it for her. You can play it for me." Nobody. That's a very wrong one. No one says, "Play it again, Sam." Man's got to do what a man's got to do is how we started off here. Do you feel lucky, punk? What Dirty Harry actually says is you got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Yeah, punk.
And look, here's one I think is nitpicking from Jaws when Roy Scheider's character is chumming and you get your first clear view of the shark. It's saying a lot of people say we're going to need a bigger boat, and the line is actually you're going to need a bigger boat. That's nitpicking.
It is nitpicking.
Yeah. And
he is clearly on the boat
father,
that we're going to need a bigger one of.
Yeah.
I mean, he is clearly placing himself in the same situation. He sees the shark. He's chumming the shark.
Yeah.
He's going, "Oh dear, I am in the in the crosshairs of this largest shark that is looking at me in an aggressive fashion." Maybe what I think is intelligent is he stops chumming at that point too.
Yes,
he doesn't keep on throwing shit over the side. He goes, "No, the shark is already attracted.
Yeah.
I need no longer to attract the shark." And he stops throwing. Yeah.
It's a really funny moment because he's complaining. He's having to dig in really gross, stinky fish guts with a little trowel, and he's throwing it, and he's got his back to the water, and he's throwing it over his shoulder, and he's just muttering, "Fucking chum the boat, I'll give you a chum."
And
then there's a splashing noise behind him that he does, and we just see the shark come up out of the water, and you see his eyes go wide, and he looks over his shoulder, and the shark goes, "Yeah," and then he just does this double take and steps back, and then he just looks over his shoulder. "You're gonna need a bigger boat."
Yes.
It's very funny, mate. And who was it brought it up? Luke, I Am Your Father. Strictly Sega. That's actually the next one on this thing. Again, it's minor, but it is different. He actually says, "No, I am your father." So he doesn't say, "Luke, I am your father," because he says, "Did Obi-Wan tell you what happened to your father?" "He told me enough. He told me you killed him." "No, I am your father." Okay, and this one's nitpicking as well from Field of Dreams, saying most people say, "If you build it, they will come," and the line in the movie is, "If you build it, he will come." I think that's nitpicking. "Hello, Clarice." There you go. He doesn't say hello, Clarice. He says, "Good evening, Clarice." And for Forrest Gump, life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. My mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
That's right.
Oh, that's the fucking line. It's just left off.
It's just left off the first bit of the line. Yeah.
They're being cockheads. They're being
They are
absolute.
being cockheads there. I would get as aggressive as you are, but except I'd let you do it because
Yes,
I'm lazy.
that's fair. That is absolutely fair.
However, there are some it always surprises me when you see these lines come out that are quoted wrongly, badly, and forever, over and over and over again, wrongly. And you go, all right, what is it about society and people and our tribe that needs the line to be the wrong one? Why do we need it to be the wrong one? Why do we need it to be a man's got to do what a man's got to do, rather than fucking all the correct ones that it wasn't? Why do we need it to be played again, Sam? You know, why do we need it to be a forced perspective cardboard cutout of a plane with actual midgets and dwarfs servicing it in the background, which I think is the funniest bit out of Casablanca ever. Look it up. Last scene out of Casablanca. To get the feel of an aerodrome, they did a forced perspective shot with a couple of dwarfs and a cardboard plane. Yeah, fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. True story. True story.
That's the old Hollywood tricks. They did some very, very weird stuff.
And Peter just got in the way of so much good stuff. I mean, you know, bloody all of Dr. Zhivago with all of the horses falling over in the gypsum dust because they had their hooves tied to wires and they were tripped over as they were galloping. Pump! You can't do that now. How to ruin a movie?
Yes. That's yep.
Yeah. And I've seen that movie. That happened a lot. Yeah. You gotta wonder. Still, you know, could be worse. We could all be working for
Could it? It's one of those phrases where you just casually throw in, it could be worse. And it's like, but could it? Could it really?
Really?
Strictly Sagi, I've made one drink with the blue fruit vodka, which improved it. Added some Cointreau and elderflower liqueur. So that's on the official date night cocktail menu. I've got to try another one now. But all right, so I'm gonna rinse my glass. So I've got a clean glass because I also want to use this for the next one. Hey, Big Pat, how you doing?
Hey, Big Pat, good to see you, fellas. I should read some of the I'm going to spend some time reading the comments now. The bridge exploding on Devil's Regret. Yes, exactly. The horses falling into the river. That was a real thing. They did that. Yeah.
Is my sumac?
No, I am your father. Not Luke, I am your father. Yeah, that's right. No, I am your father. That's right. And what was the guy who was in the Darth Vader suit? What was the guy?
Dave Prowse.
And they got to the point where they stopped telling him scripts.
Yeah, because he would leak all the time.
He'd leak all the time. Not even maliciously. He just had a mouth like an open sieve.
Yeah, he's just chatty.
Yeah, he's just a chatty man. So they stopped so they used to do his lines in post, with James Earl Jones. How cool would it be to have your father's voiced by James Earl Jones? Anyway, and yeah, poor old David Prowse wouldn't know what he was doing if he told, point over there, get angry at this, do that, and Mark would be saying this random shit back to him and be going, I have no idea what you mean. That's rather the point, David. That's rather the point.
You can find video on YouTube of before they put James Earl Jones's voice in, so it's Dave Prowse's voice with this sort of Northern English sort of. You're not on any mercy mission this time, Your Majesty. I was like, okay, that's weird.
Oh, I've been down, down around these parts, and I find you're trying to get some contraband out the rebels. Or you were going down the lake with me. So that was more West Country, really.
Was a bit, but in spirit, he was a regional.
In spirit, I was just going regional. I just wasn't going the London look. Mind you, it would be cool if Darth Vader had the London look. Until it's sick of your rebels just messing everything up all the time. I just don't want anything to do with
it. Like
get back in the turbo.
Like if Stephen Fry had done the voice for it, that would have been good. That would have been good, right?
Yeah, it would have been good actually. It would actually. It'd be a totally different tone to the movie. Yeah.
All right. So now I'm making. This is going to be a very red drink. This is my very dark red sumac infused vodka. Sumac being a spice, a very red spice that I am infused into L vodka. Hello, Heist. How are you?
Hi, Heist.
I love David trying to pick a fight. Star Wars is a half-baked rip-off of Dune. I appreciate someone trying to pick a fight. What am I going to do at one point? Velvet for Learning. Got my Velvet for Learning.
Oh, this is just a half-baked rip-off of Dune. Yes. I wonder what Dune would... Oh, that's probably actually going to start a fight, though. So I probably shouldn't say that. No, I'll say it anyway. I'll say it anyway. I wonder what Dune was trying to be a rip-off of. I mean, Dune just never knew what it wanted to be at all, ever.
And weirdly, it got less sure of what it was the further Frank Herbert went on flogging a dead horse.
Yeah.
The first one was pretty strong. The second one was okay, but the third one was like, really, dude?
Really? What are you thinking?
And then years later, more came out. It's like, okay, we now know.
Frank, you don't mean it anymore.
Cash grab. And in fact, I think his son published some after Frank Herbert's death.
Oh, someone had to. The story had to end. All the ends had to be tied up. And they basically had to stop somewhere. They'd set up this endless loop of these 5 main characters who would just leapfrog through time, replaying these same fucking stories over and over again. And there was just, the thing had to just stop at some point. And that's why the publishing house and various different, the organizations met with Frank Herbert's son and said, for fuck's sake, just stop this thing.
Yeah. I read the original trilogy because I was a sci-fi nerd at school, and I skimmed an abridged version of I think it's the 4th one, God Emperor of Dune, where, spoiler alert, they killed Paul Atreides. He's turned into some big, weird sandworm type mutant, and they do actually kill him. But then it gets weird with recursive time travel and whatnot. But oh wow, that's interesting. Okay. Got to give this one a go. I put my glass in the freezer, didn't I? Yes. Wanted to be stylish and chilled. Okay. So, yeah, we're supposed to. Is it another movie or another TV series we're meant to get of June? I keep forgetting, and I'm sure I've asked it.
Well, see, there was a European based English voice TV miniseries thing done recently.
No, there was something that was supposed to be like on Netflix or something, like a proper big budget. It was either a movie or a series for one of the streaming platforms.
Right.
Oh, David reckons God Emperor of June is the best in the series.
Okay.
Big call. And I'll give you that because I really don't have any vested interest in
I can see it because I mean from the point of view of the political and religious aspects of it, God Emperor of June is where it does come to the natural point of its ending, right?
Yeah.
It could have actually ended at God Emperor of June and made the point.
Well, because they killed Paul at the end, so.
Well, he allowed the story of himself to be killed. He knew that was coming. He had organized events so that they'd kill him. Because you don't live to several thousand years old and not know a thing or two.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at the end of that could have stopped, but it didn't. It just kept on going, and you just go, why are you doing this? Maybe it was gas bills. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's been plenty of artists that have kept series going because they've gone, well, this is the thing that I'm known for, so I'm just going to keep on doing this while I set up my grandchildren's trust funds.
Yeah. Okay, everyone's looked it up. There's a movie coming out later this year. Except now, maybe who the fuck knows? Maybe it won't because all the shit. Anyway, look, my very purple cocktail. This is my sumac martini, made with sumac infused vodka. Wow, that's really good. Oh, that's really good. So it's got.
Go on.
You were going to ask me what's in it, or what's
no.
flavor?
I was going to say, what color do you make it? Because I see it as a sort of a sort of a porpoise blood red.
Yeah, I think it's showing a fairly true color. It's a very purple red. So that's the sumac vodka is very dark red, and my homemade grenadine is very purple. And then there's the velvet falernum, which is basically colorless, and the lime juice, which is lime juice colored. So I've ended up with a very purple red. Big Pat's girlfriend's Rachel's birthday tomorrow, so big happy birthday to Rachel.
It's Boss of the House's birthday tomorrow too.
Big happy birthday to Boss of the House as well. Wow, this is actually super fucking good. I'm just throwing
Everybody
it out.
says happy birthday to you, Boss of the House. Boss of the House is waving back to everybody, saying thank you for saying happy birthday on me, because I'm a total bastard and no one likes me.
Okay, that seems perfect. I'm trying to, because I was talking with Mrs. Angry about what cocktails to make in a date night, and I've there was that one you made a couple of weeks ago, and you called it something hard, and you go, yeah, I kind of remember that, and I didn't keep a record of it, and it was a good one, and I don't remember it, so now I'm just going to randomly try and rediscover it because I don't remember what was in it.
One of the favorite things that used to happen when I was a full-time working comic, where there'd be people come up and say, "Oh, you're a comic. Oh, I went out last night and saw a comic, and they were the funniest ever." Oh, who was it? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what his name was. Righto. Um, can you remember? Can you remember what they looked like? Oh, there was sort of a tall, short, fat, skinny guy with blue blonde hair.
Yeah.
And like, okay, can you remember any of the jokes? Um, Nah, but they were really funny. But every now and again, you'd get one joke out of these individuals, and all the comics standing in the circle go, "Oh, that's Jack. Yeah, that's Jack Forrest. Yeah, 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 yeah." Because everyone knew everyone else's songs.
Yes.
To the point where every now and again, when we were being very naughty, and we were very, very naughty, every now and again when we were on tour, and we knew we were far enough away from civilization so that we wouldn't get caught, we would do each other's act. Um,
Ah,
and we set up for it for a couple of days. You couldn't fuck it up. You had to do it properly.
mm,
Yeah, they were fun nights done properly. They were really
yeah.
fun nights because you'd have to get everyone's mannerisms down just pat, and see how you'd go. It was the kind of thing you'd agree to do at the beginning of the tour, and then give yourselves a few weeks to rehearse while watching
Right.
your guy. You know. Hmm. Hmm.
Mm,
Listen, I'm going to have to bail for just a little while. I'm going to take myself out and then bring myself back.
yeah.
Um, uh, Good people. I'll see you in just a second.
Alrighty. Little ADS's gone wandering off. That's no, it's not ADS's birthday. It's the boss of ADS's house birthday. I'm Strictly Sega saying, "Can't you see me making of it?" No, I don't think it was one I made in a live stream. I think I just made it. A Friday or Saturday night at home. I'll often just sit around and make a couple cocktails. I'm trying to remember websites. Liquor.com. Oh, maybe it was on that website. How we're drinking right now? A bourbon Rickey. That's oh, Rickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Rickey. What's a bourbon Rickey? Bourbon, lime, and sparkling water. Okay, that doesn't even count. That's not a cocktail. It really bloody. Okay, the Switchel is nature's Gatorade. I mean, that's a selling point, isn't it? Nature's Gatorade. Frank, you think with AT sneaking off, you should look behind you. Look, stranger things have happened. I feel compelled to look at this drink called a Switchel because they called it Nature's Gatorade. What's in it? Apple cider vinegar, honey sage syrup, sparkling water or lemonade, bourbon. So, wow. So it's anything. It's basically, this is supposed to be a pick me up. So it's drinking vinegar, drinking apple cider vinegar, honey sage syrup, a bit of sparkling water or lemonade or club soda or whatever you want to call it. And then whatever you like. It says either put bourbon or rum or scotch or sherry or amaro. So yeah, okay, that's a weird one. That is a weird one. Strictly Sega, there does seem to have been a lot of people out and about not doing social distancing today. At the beaches, I saw a photo of lines at Bunnings, which was pretty weird, in my opinion. So it's just, by spirit. I think bourbon cocktails. Maybe it was a bourbon cocktail. It had something heart in the title. Maybe it's in my book. Eat bourbon cocktails to try right now. The Millionaire. Oh, this might have been it. This might be what I'm looking for. Lion's Tail, which I think is actually pretty good. 10 bourbon drinks to try now. Bourbon Old Fashioned. What's up, Doc? Bourbon cocktails, Big Gold Rush. Mountain Dew and bourbon. What in the actual fuck? Apparently, that's an Appalachian tradition. Mountain Dew and bourbon. Jesus. Okay. Brown Derby. A Scofflaw, which is a great name for a prohibition cocktail. The Scofflaw. Amaretto Sour, New York Sour. Forbidden Sour. You got to love a forbidden sour. Why is it forbidden? Why are we saying the drink is forbidden? Bourbon cocktails to try right now. Okay, I'm going to look at that. But I need to know what a forbidden sour is. Pomegranate liqueur and bourbon and lemon juice. So I don't have pomegranate liqueur, but I've got pomegranate syrup, my homemade grenadine. I could put that in. So it's just a whiskey sour with pomegranate in it. All right. Not altogether sure why that's forbidden. Fuck, this is a good drink, though. Just throwing it out there. My sumac martini is very good. Oh, God. See, that's the thing, Stella. A lot of people are doing... you've got your neighbors having parties and barbecues every night. A lot of people have been going like, oh, yeah, so I can't go to the shops, but I'll go around to my friend's place. No, you can't go around to your friend's place. You can't do that. It's not on. It's a bad thing. So, I love a good name for a cocktail, like the Suffering Bastard, which is meant to be a hangover cure. Expense of bourbon and 2 types of rum. I am going to have to look at that. A milk punch, strawberry iced tea, high school friends, whiskey sour made with Mike's Hard Lemonade. Lol. I'm sure it's like one of these bourbon cocktails. I think if I keep going through it, a bourbon lift, New York egg cream, dessert in a glass. A shandy maker. Ugh, beer. I know a lot of people like beer in cocktails. I hate beer. Yuck. Ginger syrup, lavender, and no, I don't have that. Bourbon Rickey, I've looked at. Stone Barn, espresso milk punch, gross. Bourbon vanilla and chocolate milkshake. Wow, that's a bit wild. An inside job. All right. I need to find what I'm looking for. Don't want to be like Bono, complaining that I still haven't found what I'm looking for. 10 whiskey cocktails to make right now. I have to look at this. What's this one? Okay. A Godfather. That's with amaretto, I think. Yeah. Almond liqueur. Sahayden Smash. That's a fun name. Blackberries mint and bourbon. Yeah. Green tea highball. Duck fat sour. Duck fat infused dry orange curacao. Wowzers. Okay. Crimson King. A Boulevardier. Coffee liqueur. Oh, no. Fuck no. Ew. It's full of things I don't like. Scofflaw's bourbon and vermouth lemon juice grenadine. Yeah. Another beer one. Gross. I don't want a beer one. New York sour. No. Oh, God, it's really frustrating me that I can't find this thing I'm looking for. Hey, nobody, how's it going? Okay, that is a fantastic sentence, Frank. You jumped off bowl. Now you have to scrape a porridge donut off your template. Oh, yeah, nobody, there's nothing wrong with actually seeing someone and you can still maintain social distancing. But lots of people have been having parties. Absolutely. Not doing. So this one I was looking up, the expensive honesty is bourbon, 2 sorts of rum, Demerara sugar, pea shorts. I'm going to make this. There's a little bit of improvising. instead of demerara sugar and honey, I think I'll use my coconut sugar syrup. Pretty sure it's bitter as anything. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make this one. See what this one's like. Hey Annette, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, nice, nobody being the natural counsellor, mediating small dispute. That's the other thing. We've all got to be a little bit careful if we're at home with family or loved ones to not get too short, too judgmental. I really have to pace myself with this because it tastes so good and it goes down so easy. I could just neck it. And honestly, the temptation to do that is pretty strong. So I'm being really controlled. I'm thinking could maybe make it with slightly less lime juice. No, I don't know. Could improvise it a little bit. It's a good way. A good way to get super fucking drunk is to try and perfect a cocktail thing. Just adjusting the ingredients and the volumes and what ingredients make it a little bit different. How different does that taste? Good way to get really drunk. But yes. Nobody friends said quarantinis. They're just martinis. I know a lot of people have been making jokes about a drink in quarantini. It's just a martini you drink on your own. A lot of people have been doing variations of like a martini with vitamin C in it. And you think your youngin's got a bit overwhelmed. Oh, dear. I think. Oh, yeah. Your Young Miss Angry started making, that's like a 5 kilogram bag of flour I got from Costco. But stuff's coming back. I don't know about where you are, Stella, but stuff is coming back in the supermarkets. Like it's no longer impossible to get toilet paper and it's not impossible to get minced beef. There will still be stuff run out, but it's kind of leveling off a bit. But yeah, we're about to get more severe lockdown things, so people will panic buy again. Stella, if you weren't all the way in Western Australia, if you were somewhere local, I'd try and get you a bag and drop it off. But I mean, I could have bought 2 of them, but I didn't want to be stupid. That's going to last a while. Young Miss Angry has graduated from just bread to making sourdough. She's done 2 sourdough bakes. First one was a bit of an experiment. Second one was much better, although she still wants to improve. So I'm looking forward to it improving more. But she made some sourdough-based muffins today with berries in them, and they're super yummy. So I'm getting kind of spoiled that Young Miss Angry has taken up bread baking as a hobby. She actually started a week or 2 before everything went nuts, when she still thought she was going to Japan for an exchange thing. And she thought, I won't even be able to do this when I'm in Japan, so I want to have a bit of fun and bake some bread before I leave. And now it's a good skill because we have this really friggin' yummy fresh baked bread. Nobody, you've got TPP, you don't want to. I did see a funny video, how to piss off your neighbors. And someone was just on their home printer printing out images of toilet paper rolls, printing out a whole bunch of sheets of them, and then sticking them on the window facing the street. So when you walk past on the street, it looks like your house, you're hoarding a mountain of toilet paper, which honestly is looking for trouble, I think. I'm not sure it's a great idea, but yes. Yes, the sourdough muffins were good. They don't taste like sourdough. They tasted like the berries, basically. And I guess they're a bit denser than a lot of muffins are, but they're very good. I probably ate 4 or 5 of them today. It's really, they're actually, It's an effort of willpower. They're actually just here because I do this from the kitchen. There's a little berry muffin made with a sourdough base. They're very yummy. I won't eat it because I've eaten too many of them. Oh, sorry, I missed what we were talking about there. And you say your daughter's Asperger's, so she's easy to get overwhelmed, and Frank identifies. AIDSy would be totally on board with that. I've been with him in a shopping mall where it was very bright and very loud, and I saw him getting really twitchy, and I went, oh, should we go outside? Because you look like any second now you might stab a motherfucker. And he went, yes, let's go outside, because the sensory overload was getting to. So I'm going to make an expense of, what's it called? An expense of honesty. And I have different rums to what they're saying. I might do the overproof rum. 1/2 ounce of overproof rum and 1 ounce of Captain Morgan spice rum. 1 ounce of bourbon. Yeah, I'm going to make this one. That actually sounds pretty good. Mixing glass with ice, stir. This is another stir one. Okay. I've got my mixing glass here. It's melted a little bit. I'll just drink it as a residue of the last drink. If I was a real perfectionist, I'd wash this out before using it again. But I'm not. I'm not a real perfectionist. Frank, you didn't know to 2012. Yeah, AIDSy didn't get diagnosed till his 20s. Still, you're not even autistic, and shopping centers do that to you. They can be loud and overpowering. And crowds. AIDSy is not a fan of crowds. All right, I'm going to put some stuff back. So I've got some room. This goes here. This goes here. And this goes with that and Suzanne's. All right. So I want bourbon and a rum and rum. Overproof rum. Deadly. Okay. It's not that overproof. Some rums are higher proof than that. And put my sumac vodka back. Right. Looking at the ingredients again to make sure. Bitters. Yep, okay. Got to get 2 sorts of bitters, because that makes all the difference. Peychaud's bitters. Where's my Angostura bitters? Where's my Angostura bitters? Where's my Angostura bitters? That's not Angostura bitters. I've got so many bitters. Maybe I'll just use some other bitters. Maybe I will. Where's the Angostura? Bloody hell. It's like needle in a haystack. I've got too many bottles. Oh no, there it is. It's just hiding. Okay. Angostura bitters. Angostura bitters. You got my coconut sugar syrup. I think it's in here. I thought it was in there. Where is it? Is it hiding? No. That's weird. Wait, is this it? That's my coconut sugar syrup. I think I'll taste test to make sure it's syrup. Yes, I think. Oh yeah, it's got a real sort of molasses flavor. God, it's nice actually. It's actually really nice. Somewhere between golden syrup and molasses. It's really good. Right. No, I love that. Nobody. You wear a name tag in church that instead of your name it says, "Please don't touch me." Yep. That's fair. Oh, okay. So just double check. I think it's just 1 ounce, and then I'm going to do 1/2 ounce of the overproof. All right. Yep. Okay, so this is not a particularly strong cocktail. Not a particularly weak one. Oh, because I'm putting overproof rum in, so maybe it's a little bit strong. All right, so then ounce of the bourbon. The bourbon. Oh, God, Megalich, you had to go there, Grinder, helping people find a needle in a haystack. A haystack. Dad jokes about sex with men, loving men. Wait, this is, okay, I'm just going to do half an ounce of this because this is overproof rum. Nice in drinks, but anyone remember when I took a little sip of this straight? It's pretty goddamn strong. Wait, that was the Captain Morgan. Jesus. I was about to put too much of the overproof in. A little bit more of the Captain Morgan. All right. Captain Morgan. What is it? Assertive is what we call it. Back in the day, we called it aggressive. Assertive's positive, aggressive's negative. So it depends how you see what you do. All right. Overproof rum from the good people at Plantation. It kind of looks really serious, the label, doesn't it? It's like, careful with this stuff. Careful with this stuff. All right. So double checking the ingredients. Rum. Yep, okay. And now a little bit of my, select a bit. Little bit of my coconut sugar syrup. That's probably enough of that. About a third of an ounce of that. Because I'm improvising. Because that's the thing I like to do. I like to improvise. Und bitters. 1 dash of the Peychaud's bitters. I think that was a dash. Dash is such an imprecise term. And 1 dash of yon classic Angostura bitters. There we go. Angostura always just like squirts out of the bottle. It's pretty serious. All right, got to stir my cocktail. It's a very brown looking cocktail, this one, from the bourbon and the rum. It's not really surprising that it's a rather brown drink. Just like ASMR with the ice clinking. Or is it a... What's that taste like? That's all kinds. Ooh, that's all kinds of interesting. All right. Looking forward to this one. Let's actually put this in a different glass. Get a big old block of ice for this one. I don't know that this is how I'm meant to do it, but it's how I'm going to do it. Big old block of ice from my big old ice cube tray. And my tiki mug. Right. So, now, just keep yon ice out of here. Alrighty. Put that over there, out of the way. Oh, look at God, that's a nice color, isn't it? It's a really nice amber. It's a very nice amber color, this one. The rums and the bourbon being very similar colors. It's given it a very rich color. Let's see what it tastes like, because I've never tasted this before. Oh, that's pretty good. It's like even on the nose, I thought the rum might have overpowered the bourbon, but the dominant smell, as like bringing the glass up here, is actually bourbon. So if you like bourbon, this is a pretty good drink. I don't know why I'm singing that again. Talk about hitting things more aggressive. What is Stella saying? Chat of aggression reminded me. WA's closed down. I saw that. WA closed down gun shops. Maybe to protect Centrelink workers or march on Canberra. I don't know. I have concerns about America. There's already been one guy, like a right-wing terrorist, was killed by the FBI because he was on his way to blow up a hospital that was full of coronavirus patients because, he regarded the whole coronavirus as a plot to destroy the white race. And so he was literally going to bomb a hospital full of coronavirus patients. He must have boasted about it online, and the FBI intercepted him, and he's dead. I haven't heard if they confirmed if he killed himself or if the FBI shot him dead, but that's just the first one. They've all been buying guns and ammo, and shit hasn't even got bad in the US. It's this close to bad. It's like really close to bad. But I think we're going to see some well fucking ugly incidents in the US in the next 6 to 12 months. Is not looking good, in all honesty. Oh, that's a good change of pace because the previous drink, the Sumac Martini, was a little bit sweet, and the sumac spice with the sweetness was really quite good. But it's a very light, very easy drinking cocktail. This is a good one to follow it up with because this is what they call spirit forward. What you taste in this is the spirits. Now I'm mostly tasting the bourbon. It's fucking good. So I don't usually drink straight bourbon, although I don't mind it. A good scotch or bourbon or whatever with a big block of ice in there, that's okay. I don't mind that. I don't often do it, but that's okay. But this has got a quite strong bourbon flavor balanced with other things like the rums in there. And it's just got a little bit of sweetener in it, and then the dashes of the bitters as well. That's a pretty fucking good drink, actually. Oh, Stella, I've seen a couple people Americans on Twitter, and I don't really believe them that their kids said this. I've seen a couple different people say it, saying, oh, my kid home from school said, oh, at least now we're not at school, there won't be any more school shootings. I don't actually believe these people that their kids said that. People are always going on Twitter saying, oh, my child said blah, 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 which is really just pushing the parents' ideology. And it's like, yeah, I don't believe you. But, yes, they won't have any school shootings if they don't have any school. So, yes. Yes, strictly so, you're right. The US has the most confirmed cases in the world, and their testing regimen is so bad. The actual number of infections is at least 10 times higher than what's being reported. Then again, I don't really trust China's reporting either. I don't know if I should be keeping track of these numbers because, again, I think it's not. Jesus, fuck me sideways. The US is so far ahead of Italy now. They're saying like 105,000 confirmed cases in the US and 86,500 in Italy, 82,000 in China. Not sure that we necessarily, but I think it was just last night when we looked at it, US had 80,000 confirmed cases. Fuck me. So, yeah, I mean, it's still way too early to be really sure of these numbers. But when you look at what's confirmed, 28,000 dead, 600,000 infected. All right, I've adjusted the camera so you don't even show up on the reflection now. Mrs. Angry's just grabbing some dessert from the freezer, which is a very legitimate thing to be doing. Oh, yeah, Stella, Trump saying the churches are going to be packed by Easter. He's a fucking moron. So the confirmed numbers, there's actually probably just enormously more cases that we haven't confirmed. And there are probably some deaths that we haven't confirmed either. But with 600,000 confirmed cases and 28,000 deaths, yeah, that's like 4.5% fatality rate. Again, the actual real fatality, because we're grossly underreporting the number of infected people, the real fatality rate probably is closer to 1%, but in actual solid confirmed numbers, it's 4.5%, which is fucking bad. Wowzers. And this is the thing. When I quoted the tweet from the Victorian Chief Medical Officer that said if we didn't get shit in order, we'd have 100,000 cases in 2 weeks. The US will be in the millions in 2 weeks. Mr. Grant Gregory, no, that is not what COVID-19 stands for. I've seen some racists who want to blame it all on China, saying that COVID is an acronym for Chinese originated virus infectious disease number 19. That is categorically not what COVID-19 means. That's what we call a backronym. It's a fun thing. People often do. They take a word or a phrase that's in use, and then they decide they've come up with an acronym that would explain the term, and they totally fabricate it and say, this is what it means. And it sort of catches on in people's imaginations, and they go, yeah, that's what it means. No, someone invented the acronym way after the fact and tried to apply it retrospectively, sometimes with success. That's what we call a backronym. So, yeah. Yes, Strictly Seeger, I think you're right. COVID's a contraction of coronavirus disease, first identified in 2019. We did make the joke last week that COVID 1 through 18 must have been shit because we never heard of them. They were the shitty diseases that never made an impact. But that's not actually the naming convention. It was for the year 2019. Brexit, China's ministry. I don't look. I think it's perfectly reasonable to not really trust that China is completely reporting what is actually happening, because they are a totalitarian government and they want to control the flow of information and the public perception of what's happening. So I think not trusting that China are telling us the whole truth is a legitimate concern. And when you look at the early days of the outbreak, we know beyond a doubt that the Chinese authorities deliberately understated the seriousness of the infection. They deliberately underreported how many people were getting infected until it was fucking out of control. And that was a PR thing. And it is legitimate to admonish the Chinese authorities for what they did in the early days of, or what they didn't do in the early days of the outbreak. But that's the nature of a totalitarian regime, really. Strictly Sega, how does it stop spreading? Because they did total lockdown. Like, again, the joys of being a totalitarian regime just lock down a city of 50 million people in a way you can't get away with in a non-totalitarian place, because people jack up against it. But they can clamp down with all the might of their military and absolutely stop people. The trouble with the complete clampdown that they've done is if they decide to release it, it's probably back to square one. The disease is still out there and it'll just start spreading again. And so, if you do a small release, you'll probably see an increase in infections. Then maybe you have to clamp down again. But if you just released the brakes like Trump, the colossal fucking idiot, is suggesting he wants to do, that would be a catastrophe. You'd just get a sudden outbreak that would be out of control. But yeah, I don't completely trust the Chinese numbers when they're saying no new cases, we're going to clamp it down. But even if that's broadly accurate, it's completely dependent on them maintaining the complete lockdown. And how long can you do that? And if you release the lockdown, the infections just go up again. So it's impossible to know what's going to happen. What I strongly suggest, because you keep hearing people basically suggesting they're going to circumvent the usual rules for testing vaccines, which you're not going to get away with in Western countries. You can maybe speed it up a bit, but the whole process of having a widely available, safe and effective vaccine, you should expect to take 12 to 18 months. Now, see, in China, they'd probably be willing to mass test a potentially unsafe vaccine because that's just a fucking thing they do. And that could work. They could have a working vaccine inside of 6 months that they didn't bother to test for safety and efficiency, and they got lucky. But the danger of using a vaccine that's not properly tested is it's actively dangerous. Not just that it maybe isn't effective, there is the risk that it is actively dangerous and actually causes problems for people who take it. And I'm worried that it'll give fuel to anti-vaxxers as well. But it's also weird because we just don't fucking know. We don't know what's going to happen. We know a lot of, basically in 12 months, one way or the other, in 12 months, 75% or more of the population will have been infected with the coronavirus. It just depends on if we manage the rate at which it spreads. But the actual total infections in 12 months are probably going to be the same one way or the other. It's just what we don't know what's going to happen in the meantime. How bad is the spike going to be? Is it going to be fucking Italy level with just people dying? I don't know. It's fucking weird. Missing Greg Gregory, you think we might cure COVID but end up with a zombie virus? Yep, something that damages people's brains. Oh, we've got another venturer into the kitchen. We come out to get snacks and drink, did you? Yep, that's fair. That's fair. Coming out, taking a break from the online gaming to get snacks and drink. And off he scuttles. Is that a really negative word, scuttles? He's looking at me like, yeah, that was pretty negative. That was a pretty negative word. Strictly Sega, can we just say anti-vaxxers can't have the cure next year? Well, I think, they are, the anti-vaxxers are so bloody minded, they will probably refuse to go and get a vaccine, and a bunch of them will fucking die. I mean, great moments in irony. It was confirmed a day or so ago that some conservative preacher who's very pro-Trump had been preaching that coronavirus is a hoax designed to discredit Trump. He died. He got the COVID, he got the Rona, and he died. So that's a little bit of irony in action right there. But yeah, in simple terms, a bunch of anti-vaxxers are probably going to die. They're probably going to have, like in 12, 18 months, the anti-vaxxers, if they stay true to their thing, will probably have a noticeably higher death rate than the general population. Oh yeah, and Boris Johnson testing positive was fucking hilarious. So many people in the British government have tested positive. It's wild. Oh God, Grant Gregory, if someone hassled me about vaccinating my kid, premature or not, I'd fucking put their head into a wall for real, for absolutely real. I see. Yeah, you're right, Frank. Some people argue that veganism cures cancer. You are actually statistically, if you were vegan and you controlled for other variables, you are at lower risk of getting cancer than a meat eater. That's something that we actually know, that a lot of meat consumption will actually increase your chances of cancer and a few other health complications. That's actually real. But the idea of a cure, that if you suddenly do this, no. We want, strictly speaking, we want Tony Abbott to come down next. Again, it's just like the list of people who suck a lot and won't be missed if they go as long. I mean, like, for instance, we had the thing with Scummo's favorite Hillsong having a huge convention with thousands of people at a very risky period. And you just fucking know there was infection running rife there. And then those people went back everywhere. Hey, you know, the father of the Hillsong founder is fucking child. Actually, I think he's in jail. But the founder of Hillsong, who is under police investigation for potentially having protected his father rather than acting on the knowledge that his father was a pedophile. I mean, if he got it, I'm not going to fucking shed a tear. It's a shame the potato lived. Yes, that's naughty, nobody. That's naughty. Yes, I, as I keep saying on social media, I definitely don't have a list. That would be bad. I would be a bad, terrible person if I had a list of people I wanted to die from there. Oh, okay, musical aviator. That's how far behind the times I am. Brian Houston's father died 13 years ago. Okay. Okay, that's how little I know about that story. So now I'm just sort of banking on Brian Houston, actually. So, Frankie, we're saying Kev Logan's a living potato, is he? Just you mean just like me and potato shaped? Is that what we're saying? Because, you know, I am a fat bastard and cannot lie. It's just so funny that occasionally it just reminds me some, you know, like sad little fucking troll wannabe thing. You're so fucking fat. And I went, yeah, dude, I have mirrors. I'm actually really, really quite aware that I'm a fat fuck, you know. I can be pretty good at denial, but it's the weirdest thing to say, you're fat. Yes, that's like a statement of fact. The cycle they usually get, you're fat and you're an incel and alone and unemployed. And go, well, you were correct in fat and, you know, old from a certain perspective. But yes, no, actually in a really happy relationship, home environment, and a job that pays really well. And I haven't lost it because of the Rona. I'm working from home and still getting paid. It's all good. So it's really funny when you get these fuckers who actually their worldview is really dependent on me being unhappy. And it's like, hate to break it to you fellas, but I'm actually pretty happy. So that's what was a bit wrong. All right, I just kind of faded away there, didn't I? That's where I had a point. All right, I reckon an expense of honesty is actually pretty good if you want a spirit-forward drink, as they say. Let's see, but I still haven't found this one the heart of something. Let's see if I can find it. A Switchell, 8 bourbon cocktails, old-fashioned, 10 bourbon drinks to try now. Okay, I'll try that. I really want to find this one. Then you're like, okay, The the tender knob. That's just wrong because it features Knob Creek bourbon, old fashioned. The revolver. What's in a revolver? Coffee liqueur. Gross. Don't like coffee. I actually have some coffee tequila up there that I sometimes put a little bit in a cocktail. I just don't really like coffee at all. Oh, you want to get Scofflaws, Bourbon Manhattan, Beggar's Banquet, the Forbidden Sour. I'm going to have to make that. It's a Black Demure. Blackberry liqueur and citrus flavors. Actually, I want to look at that one. What's in that? Because I got a blackberry liqueur that is quite good. An Australian blackberry liqueur. Bourbon Old Fashioned. 11 easy bourbon cocktails. Maybe it's that one. 5 weeks. So still, the party's bad enough. Now neighbours are playing chipmunk music. No, that is crossed the line. Yeah, you could just cough on them. Cough on them. Cough on them. That will get them. I think it's Frankie saying the guy who had a blog post obsessing about me saying I'm trying to hide my weight. How do you hide your weight on camera? That's super weird. Strictly Sega, do I think Trump's going to stand by the Easter gig? I don't think people will let him because it's about to get seriously fucking out of control. They've got like 100,000 confirmed cases. It's going to hit me. AIDSy's back. Are you waving and back, AIDSy? AIDSy's back again. Down the fringe.
I'm back again and waving. And yes, 5 minutes is 5 weeks for me because I had some things to do,
Okay.
and I did them. And I might have to do them again. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we're all making tender knob jokes because I found a cocktail called Tender Knob, and we're just wondering what that might be. A tender knob. Is that?
I just went immediately into bloody not Brian Eno. What was the guy that did Addicted to Love? Who was that? Robert Palmer. I just immediately went into Robert Palmer mode. You know, the tender knob just reminds me of everything he was, you know, the tender knob.
Just sex.
You just gotta like, you know, flick your head and then go the other way for a little while, then flick your head and then go the other way for a little while.
Yeah.
Then flick your head and go the other way. Sorry, go on.
I just say I thought he was very funny because he did that Addicted to Love single with, you know, the women who were all wearing the same outfits and had the same makeup, so the same, and being all sexy, and people said like, "You're a dirty old man," and he went, "Yes," and you ain't seen nothing. And his next single, Simply Irresistible, had like 50 women in it in skin type. And it was just like,
he just doubled down. He just doubled down on what he was doing. But there was Something to Love, which he did earlier on when he was trying to be serious about it when he was younger, and it was just shocking. Anyway,
he had the song I really liked the first time I was aware of him. I think he had a song called Johnny and Mary, and I love it because it was almost mumbling the whole time, like Johnny's always running around trying to find certainty. Mary kills a wall. It's just like because he's almost mumbling the whole time. I really quite liked that.
I didn't know that was even him. I didn't even know that was him. I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, that was the first time I heard of him, I think. Johnny and Mary. And then he did the thing with a couple of the guys from Duran Duran, the Power Station, with that fucking absolute banger. Some like it hot, so let's step up the heat. And they released a couple of things that were big top 40 hits, and the Duran Duran guys are like, yeah, we're hot. Let's go on a tour. And Robert Palmer's like, fuck no. That sounds like work. I'm going to stay at home drinking martinis and looking at my royalty checks. Thank you very much.
Thanks
So
for coming. I will.
they actually
I will
went on
do.
tour as the power station without Robert Palmer. They got someone else to be the vocalist. And Robert Palmer's like, knock yourselves out. I'm just going to stay at home.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Really, have a great time, guys. Have a great time.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here and not get snitty and annoyed at you guys while we're on tour and get shitty in hotel rooms and have to do fucking press at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Radio stations going, where do you get your ideas?
Strictly Vega remembers Robert Palmer with his sort of disco track. Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of tender knob. Sorry, no.
Tender knob. Yes, it's the tender knob.
That's not going away in a hurry now that we've latched on to tender knob.
I've got knobs all over. One of them's my penis. Oh, that was a single entendre, wasn't it?
Yes, single entendre. Again, a classic, an absolute classic from the angry and AIDS milieu, where we just decided to do a video that was all single entendres. And we just say the thing about, I mean my penis, single entendre. Because we grew up on like Benny Hill and Dave Allen that were all double entendres. And we just went, hey, let's just do single entendres. There's only one thing this means.
I took a lady back to my house and fucked her in the vagina. Single entendre.
My girlfriend has a hairless pussy, by which I mean her vagina's waxed. Single entendre.
Single entendre.
Gecko's got a chain of stores called Half Price Books that has used laser discs. God, that's a fucking growth industry right there.
Now, yeah.
Like you can get the original theatrical version of Star Wars on Laserdisc because the version they released on Laserdisc wasn't what do you call it? What wasn't a special edition. So of all the various versions that have been released on like VHS and disc and whatnot, the Laserdisc version is the closest to the original theatrical release, which some Puritans really obsess about.
Yes, the Puritans really do. I saw an online argument between two Blade Runner fans, a director's cut fan and a theatrical release Puritan fan, and got heated. Got to say, got heated. When basically the line, it had to come. It's like every online argument reduces to Hitler at some point.
Yes.
Anyway, it's a Blade Runner argument, and all of the lurkers are just sitting there going, "Come on, do it," and it gets down to who can get to the "I own the moral high ground of the tears in the rain" line.
Yes.
And one of them got there really rudely round the back before it came up, and it was on. There was blood splattered all over the keys. It was on for young and old. There was like shouts and insults. The film just went out the window, and it was just basically personal epithets thrown across the internet superhighway, and all of the nasty jackals just laughing.
Yes.
Kick him in the balls, kick it in here. And so yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing like the original version where they insisted on there being like a Philip Marlowe voiceover because the studio thought the audience wouldn't understand it. I don't mind the voiceover. I quite like the voiceover. But the first time I saw the director's cut without the voiceover, It's weird. It's a totally different film. And I'm sitting there watching the director's cut with no voiceover, and at some point, oh, fuck me. Decked's a replicant. Fuck. Because
And you don't know that with the voiceover one. You don't know that with the voiceover one. It never actually occurs until finally it occurs in the director's cut, and you get it about the same time he does, by the way.
But the voiceover one tells you what to think. The voiceover one tells you this is what's happening, and it never tells you I realized I'm a replicant. And so it distracts you from it. But there are so many lines in it that when they say it, you go, Jesus, fuck, he's a replicant. Like even just the police captain just saying, like, I need you, Deck. There's no one like you.
There's no one like you, Deck.
And none of them like you. When he said that, I just went, oh, fuck off. Oh, no. And then when
the nasty, horrid, smug look he gives him when he says it.
The look he gives him.
It's just slimy. It's so slimy. It's like, and he even says to Deckard, I need the old magic back, Deckard. I need you. There's no one like you.
Oh.
It's like, and because and this is part of that whole bloody narrative line thing going on. The narration line immediately before the captain says all that stuff says, this guy's a horrible piece of shit. He's the kind of guy in the old days they'd call black people niggers. And so you're left with that and only that chunk of character in your mind before he starts speaking. And he is a horrible piece of shit. There's no question that he's a horrible piece of shit. But that you also forget to start looking at the other wheels and gears that are rolling at the same time, which is something that you got to be looking at in real people too. And I'll get to that in a minute. And so I like the Blade Runner with the narration in it. I do. I really do. But the director's cut Blade Runner. But the other thing with the director's cut Blade Runner is it's about 30 minutes extra film in there as well, which goes a long way.
There's one version that's literally only 2 extra 5-second bits of video, and it's just there are multiple versions. There's the ultimate version, but the first director's cut, all it was 2 bits of like 5-second video with a unicorn and no narration. Oh, and again, for purists, they changed the color balance in the later versions. Some of the versions that are released, the lighting is more orangey, and some versions released, the light's more green. There are websites dedicated to obsessively comparing the difference between the different versions. But I think the one you're talking about with the longer stuff is called the ultimate version.
Okay. It was definitely a director's cut. It was long, and it wasn't long in the sense that there was a lot of extra scenes. There was a few extra scenes. But they didn't mind pausing and waiting and being patient. There was there's the bit where Deckett's in the bar, and he calls up the girl and says, why don't you come on down? I've got the boss on the hook. And he's buying the drinks. And he waits there at the bar before he makes that call. He waits there, and we wait with him, and we wait. And he's a guy sitting at a bar having a drink, completely out of place in this very rich person's.
Around him.
All these very rich people around him, the beautiful people around him, and he's just this filthy cop sitting in his bar and like, going, "Oh, I have no reason being here," until she turns up, and then all of a sudden, he's in his proper place again. But there's stuff like that. There was
Dip out. I just want to say goodbye. He's going out to help a friend. We've got to applaud someone who helps a friend with a bit of impromptu, unqualified counselling. But sometimes all we need is a friend to be on board.
We do. Oh, I never needed friends. We applaud you, and enjoy. Thank you very much for being with us tonight, nobody. Appreciate it. Appreciate
Good man.
it.
Good man.
Good man. Good man. There's, I guess, we all know about the legendary Rutger Hauer moment where he's in the studio being having a bloody fire hose dripped on him for all night. And he's just told to run his lines over and over and over and over again, like they do in many Hollywood processes. They just get you to run the same line over and over and over again. Actually, it's a shame Mr. Blumenstein's not in evidence this evening, because that's one of his techniques. Is you'll run the same dialogue about 200 or 300 times, and he'll shave it and move it and shape it as you go, and you've just got to sit there and pound it out. And if you
sorry.
And if you're starting to flow too far the other way, he'll just like pull you up sharp and go, "No, you fucked it, go," and and he'll tell you. And so Rutger Hauer was sitting there just pounding out these lines, and let go of the whole classic, all these memories gone, faded away like tears in the rain. And there's just, it always fascinates me that it was never written, it was never planned to be, and if they hadn't have just decided to go that way of production that night, that time, we would have never got that. And it's one of the best cinematic lines ever done. It's just one of the best. It's just one of the best pieces of meaningful dialogue ever delivered. Within context.
You won't believe things I've seen.
Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. You people. The things you people, the things you, anyway. So, the things that really stuck with me was that, of course, I mean, that sticks with everyone, but was the fear in Deckard in the director's cut, the fear in the guy, as he's consistently faced with the very real prospect of being killed at any moment, and the slow fear in the replicants' eyes as they know they're dying.
I feel
and it's that apex of tension that gets to be the big problem. And it's also emblematic of the people that set up these forces against one another. They're not going to get hurt by this, except spoiler alert, one of them really fucking is. Really badly is.
Back of his head, basically.
And the wisdom is delivered. The first and last lines of the movie are delivered by the same guy, and they're both they're both little bits of wisdom that you should take with you. I'm not going to say what the first one is because that's a little bit of it's a little bit of an Easter egg for everyone. But the last thing he says is, you don't know how long she'll last, but then who does?
Yeah, too bad.
Whoever does. And that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, they're all running around going, you've got to give me more life.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, who gets that? No one gets that, no.
Yes.
No one gets that.
You get what everyone gets. You get a lifetime.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
as many beats as you get.
Yeah.
And that's 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 the end of it. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that Deckard comes to terms with in the last seconds of the movie. That's the
Yeah.
thing that he finally comes to terms with, is that he is going to then,
Yeah.
take his girlfriend and they are going to run.
And
Because
that's the other, he's a replicant bit when there's no voiceover and there's no happy ending. The last thing you get is a repeat. It was like Deckard remembering the police detective saying, "Too bad she won't live forever." Then again, who does? And Harrison Ford just pulls this little face like, "Yep, I get it, buddy.
Yep.
I've got a clock ticking because I'm a fucking replicant."
Yep.
But anywho, a slight divergence in honor of Prince Charles testing positive for coronavirus. I just found a cocktail called a Naughty Charles. So
the Naughty Charles.
I don't know who Charles was fraternizing with to contract the Rona, but I think he's been naughty. He's been fraternizing with the staff or something.
Fucking, they've got to shake about 15 billion fucking hands a day. Those motherfuckers just working. So, it's everyone bloody assumed one of the royals was going to fucking come down with something at some point.
So a Naughty Charles is Scotch. It says cherry brandy. I've got a cherry maraschino liqueur.
That'll go close.
Vermouth. So I haven't opened this one yet. I got this Australian vermouth I've been using. The other one I had was sweet vermouth. This is a classic, so it's not as sweet as the other one, but it's not really dry. So some vermouth that's got a nice roast tinge and some white creme de cacao. So it's going to have a little bit of a chocolate vibe in it. Naughty Charles is a bit chocolatey.
Mm-hmm.
We do that. Cacao. And just a couple dashes of bitters. It says orange bitters. I've got cranberry bitters. Maybe I should put cranberry bitters in it. Can
you yodel?
Yodel.
Well, if you're going to have the cranberries, you've got to yodel.
Zohombi. So I'm going to put, it's very red, obviously, cranberry bitters. So I'm going to put a bit of cranberry bitters in there. It's going to make this a very red drink, actually. Where's my stirring spoon? Don't know about you, man.
That sounds like it should be in either a 90s or 40s girl rock. Where's my stirring spoon? Touched him and splashed all over, tied an end, and he blew up of infection and died. I'm just making up songs in my head. It's good.
Right, so I'm basing this off. This was only invented in 2018. So this is a recently invented cocktail by a guy called Liam Doherty Penza at the Whirlybird Bar, Sydney, Australia. And he got a place in the London final for the Hearing Classics competition.
Didn't know about that. Don't know about new things.
Aussie getting into an English cocktail competition.
Don't know about that either.
Melted a bit.
Mind you, how do you find an Australian? Go to a London pub.
Oh my God. I thought, what was that? That's wrong. I God, Jesus. I put the fucking creme de cacao straight in my glass, and I thought that was water, and I just swigged it. Okay.
I wondered when you were going to work that out, and I didn't want to say anything because it was already halfway down the back of your head before I could say anything, and I thought I'm just going to let him describe that for us and see how we go.
Straight shot of creme de cacao. That's fine.
You'll be right. You'll be right. I mean, your commute tomorrow is not going to be very much, very, very hard anyway.
I don't have to do anything tomorrow, so that's why I hit it pretty hard last night. Stopped at just the right time. I thought it wasn't sweet enough when I tasted a bit off the spoon. I was like, I expected that to be sweeter because it had creme de cacao in it. It wasn't sweet because it didn't have creme de cacao in it. That's okay. That's okay. These things happen. So yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to have one more drink last night because then I think I would have been a bit sick and hangovery in the morning. As it was, I was fine. So it was just the perfect because I was actually pretty shit faced at the end of last night. But I think it was just the right level of shit faced. So I just noticed L3 Tube comments that I don't understand. Uncle mixed part of Rickey. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a language thing we've got going on there or
what. Where are we?
The username L3D Tube. I'm not really understanding the comments. Is all.
Uncle mixed that part from Rutger Hauer, and my dad traded Volvo cars with him. Okay, so my uncle sound mixed that part with Rutger Hauer, and my dad traded Volvo cars with Rutger Hauer.
All right, yeah. L3,
does that make sense?
Now L3 is re-emphasizing Uncle's a DJ, so there you go. Okay, cool.
There you go.
Annette's saying she was almost shit-faced too. Yes, I did convince Annette to mix 2 or 3 cocktails with her. A naughty Charles. Fucking A, man.
You reckon you could get the Rona from someone with a naughty Charles?
Oh, I reckon naughty Charles has got to involve a reach around at the very least. So, So that's Scotch. It says cherry brandy, and I use cherry liqueur, which is not really the same thing. I think based on what you meant to use cherry hearing, which I did have at one point, but I use it all. Now I've just got a maraschino liqueur and white creme de cacao and vermouth and a couple dashes of bitters. Fuck me, that's a good one. That is a good one. It's just great. That's a naughty Charles. Get the angry seal of approval, quite honestly.
Is it going to be a date night drink, that one?
I think Naughty Charles goes on the date night list, actually.
Wow.
Because it's different. Because the ones on the date night list, I'm going to come up with 8 potential. We're not going to drink 8 cocktails on date night.
No.
But so Mrs. Angry has a choice, so it feels special. So the first 4 have been like classics or slight variations on classics. And the second 4, I want to be a bit different. I think Naughty Charles is going on there. I've got to get a rum one. I've got to decide which rum on there as well. I'm going to put a brain duster because Mrs. Angry surprised me by liking a brain duster, which was equal things of. Actually, I'll look it up to be sure, but I was really surprised she liked it because it was quite heavy on the absinthe, and I like absinthe heavy drinks, but I was kind of surprised Mrs. Angry liked it. It's basically equal 1 ounce whiskey, 1 ounce absinthe, or 30 mils, and a 1 ounce vermouth, and maybe a splash of so that's
not me. None of that is me.
I was really surprised.
I couldn't go there. No.
I made it for a laugh because I thought brain duster, and I gave Mrs. Angry a taste, and she goes, That's good. I'll have it. And in fact, it was rye whiskey was recommended, and I just made it with bourbon because I had a lot of bourbon, and it was pretty good. And Mrs. Angry said, "Make me one." So I made hers with rye, and I thought, can you actually taste any difference? Because I thought absinthe would overpower everything. And I made it with rye whiskey, and it was noticeably better. The profile of rye works better than bourbon. So
Okay.
that's the
Okay.
recommendation. 1 ounce or 30 mils or one shot or whatever the fuck you want to do. But it's equal measures of rye whiskey, absinthe, and vermouth, a sweet vermouth, and a splash of bitters, if you like, in there. But I was really surprised Mrs. Angry liked that one because it's a pretty fucking brutal cocktail, quite honestly. Sometimes when they're being polite, they say spirit forward. Okay, no, this one's called a brain duster for a fucking reason. It's really a fucking hammer to the frontal lobe, this one.
Which is something that we're all looking for, really, in the end.
Yeah.
When I'm speaking in tongues, I like to have something that'll just erase parts of my synapses so that I truly get the message
Yeah.
more clearly down into my.
What
See,
was the
now
line
you're
about
all healed.
a pancreatic gargle blaster is like having your brain smashed out with a slice of lemon wrapped around a large gold brick.
Brick,
It's like, drink that's so strong it equates
yeah.
to physical assault when you drink it.
It's supposed to eat through your own clothing when you're drinking it.
L3 is a fucking professional. L3 said put a slice of lemon over the absinthe, sprinkle sugar on top of the lemon, and light it and let that drip over the absinthe. Ooh, L3's a fucking professional right there, quite honestly.
So, hang on. What drink are you letting drip
I think
into the absinthe?
absinthe, like because a traditional way to do absinthe is just absinthe and you drip chilled water through a sugar cube and
Yeah.
to your taste, dilute the absinthe to your taste. That's a really traditional way to drink absinthe. Like I've got the actual absinthe spoon. You put the sugar cube on and you drip water through it. L3 saying put a lemon there, sprinkle sugar on it, light it, and then drip through that. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do that, L3. That's
What are you dripping through the lemon?
water, I assume, unless he just means literally dripping the burnt lemon juice through it.
Well, because it'd still be on fire when it hit the absinthe, and the absinthe would not necessarily go out.
Yeah, no. I think it's the idea is get that burnt taste. Sprinkle some sugar on a lemon, let that soak into the lemon, burn it, and then drip something through that into the absinthe. I'm gonna have to fucking do that. Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna have to definitely get some opium and
saying pour the absinthe through the sugar on the lemon and light that and drip some absinthe through that.
that makes more sense to me, actually.
Yes, he's admitting it's tricky. It's a tricky thing to do.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
And the way I'd have to do it is I'd have to get 3 matches, and I'd cheat also and nuke the absinthe in Il Microwaver. I'd get 3 matches and strike them, and with the phosphor flame as it came through, that would be how I'd be wanting to hit the atomized alcohol. So you come with an upward stroke, come down to hit whatever's vaporizing and whatever's vaporized, and you should get a nice whoomph going that way.
Holy cow! Yes. Sorry, I was just fine. I wasn't necessarily going to make another drink, but I just found another one. It's a variation on a Sazerac, which I like. Sazerac's basically just an old-fashioned, but you rinse the glass with absinthe. I actually like to be a little bit different. Most people say you rinse the glass with absinthe and do an old-fashioned on top of it. I actually like to do a very light absinthe float on top of the old-fashioned to make a Sazerac. So traditional New Orleans cocktail. Someone's done a variation that they call the Sazaroy. So it's a cross between a Sazerac and a Rob Roy, and it sounds great. It's like the same. It's the absinthe rinse, but it's cognac. And they're saying Lillet Rouge, which I don't have, but I'd probably substitute this same vermouth I have because it's very good. A small amount of rye whiskey and a small amount of Scotch whiskey and some sugar syrup and some Peychaud's bitters. So it's mostly a cognac drink, where a traditional Sazerac is more of the whiskey. This one is just little bits of the whiskey, and it's mostly cognac. I'm going to have to try that because that sounds fucking amazing. So Annette's trying to order stuff off the Kmart. What do you want off the Kmart website, Abs? I think everyone's trying to order delivery stuff, and it's probably fucking up websites. But God, as you've been so fixated in that thoughtful pose, it looks like your feed has frozen. I think your feed has frozen because you didn't react when I said that. That is, yep, no, he's gone. Yep, okay. That was super weird. Frank, what would I make a dirty Frankie? Okay, no, I need to come up with a dirty Frank. What's your beverage of choice, Frank? Because I think I'd honestly do a variation of a Naughty Charles for you. I just need to know what your beverage of choice is. Do a mutation of a Naughty Charles and make it a dirty Frank. Oh God, L3, you didn't have TV for 3 days in your internet sucks. That would be fucking awful. Trying to update Call of Duty? Damn. Is half of Australia watching Life of Brian? I don't know. Where's Life of Brian screening? Oh, you're trying to get a bookcase in it for homeschooling. Fair enough. Irish stout, Jamaican lager, or brown. No, dude, I'm not putting beer in a fucking cocktail. I'll do Jamaican rum for you. Okay. Oh, Jamaican overproof rum. Okay. So if I were to do a variation of a Naughty Charles for a Dirty Frank, instead of the Scotch whiskey, I'd do it with Jamaican rum. 1.5 shots of Jamaican rum, cherry brandy or cherry liqueur, white creme tequila. Another live stream. I'm not making that tonight, but remind me, Frank, the Dirty Frank is a variation of the Naughty Charles. I'm swapping out the Scotch whiskey for Jamaican rum. Oh, he's back. Guess who's back? Back again. Wait, what are we doing? Where are you? Why aren't you coming up on the thing? I think you're gone again. God damn it. Okay. Move your arms around if it works, because no, he froze again. He was there and then he froze. Oh, well, maybe he'll come back. Yeah, such a shame. Strictly Sabres #1 on Twitter. Okay. Maybe everyone did decide to watch it together. I don't know. I'm really not surprised. The website for Kmart or other fucking department stores goes offline because everyone's trying to fucking order online because they don't want to. It's all. Our world is strange and fucked up right now. Well, at a couple of fucking winners with the cocktails night, there are too many people on the internet. I think that is the problem, Annette. I think it's the problem. Frankie, Jamaican rum. I've got an overproof Jamaican rum and I don't know if you were on the live stream when I took a sip straight from the bottle, but it's fucking brutal. Gecko, what's about Kmart? Annette's trying to get on the Kmart website, and it's shit itself, basically. Make a Sazerac. What do I need? Okay, rye. I've still got scotch sitting here. Cognac. I'll put the maraschino and the creme de cacao back because I don't need them anymore. I don't need it anymore. I don't know why I randomly sing things. Frank, you would have warned me against it if you'd been here because it was overproof rum. It wasn't a standard Jamaican rum. It's more than 50% more alcoholic than the average Jamaican rum. It's good. I've used it mixed drinks, but straight from the bottle is a bit fucking brutal, quite honestly. Hey, Kate, how are you? How are you? Kate Alexander, music. Are you making music, Kate? Oh, Gecko, Kmart Kmart was going to shut down in Australia, weren't they? Oh, God, I can't keep up with shit that's happening. The world is too strange. All right. So, what do I need to get? I need to get rye whiskey. I need to get absinthe. Only doing a few dashes of absinthe, though. All right. What the fuck? No. Oh, Frank, it was back in the 80s that you nearly wiped yourself out. Bad memories. So what do I want? Absinthe. Cognac. Okay. I don't have Visot cognac, but I have Visot Armagnac, which is the same thing, but from a different part of France. So I'll use that. Sugar syrup. I think I'll use my agave syrup, actually. So scotch, rye. Got to get the Armagnac. Peychaud's bitters. I've got everything. And this is a stirred drink, is it? Yeah, it's a stirred drink. Okay. And I drink the melted stuff out of my stove. The remnants of the naughty Charles. Armagnac. God, I should have got cognac when I was out at fucking Dan Murphy's the other day. Not that much Armagnac left. It's just it's a fancy fortified wine, basically. And cognac comes from the Cognac region of France, and Armagnac comes from the Armagnac region. Kate, you're drinking Italian Red Toscano. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, God, it's all been too much in it. You're going to get drunk now. That's fair. Frank, okay, the one you drank was 74, 76%. The one I have is 69%. Nice. But yes, overproof just means over 50% alcohol. So overproof can mean a whole fucking bunch of different things. Like from this absinthe is overproof. It's 80% alcohol. Rye whiskey's not overproof, so it's only like 40%. What is it? Crafted with conviction. Thank you, the good people at Rye. 40%, 40.5%. Scotch whiskey's 80 proof, that's 40%. The vermouth is probably only about 20%. 17%, in fact. Vermouth's about flavor, not about alcohol content, really. Okay, Annette, you have gin, whiskey, brandy, tequila, and vodka. All right. And you've still got your juices, yeah? Yeah, no, Gecko, you're a bad man. Juggling them up all together is bad. But a slightly more elegant one. I'm thinking of what you have there. That's actually a really good selection. I would say do equal measures gin, brandy, and lemon juice. Yeah. It's like then you're doing like a variant of a sidecar, which, as I said the other day, is one of my favorites. Do equal measures gin, brandy, and lemon juice. I think that will be a good one. Kate, what's my preference between whiskey or rum? Most often it's probably, again, as a mixer, like as a cocktail ingredient, most often I will probably use whiskey. Rum is often used with fruit juices, and I kind of think that's cheating with a drink. This one I'm going to make, I've never made this before. I just found it, the Sazerac. All right, so we're going to, I'm not going to actually do the absinthe rinse. I'm going to put it on ice, which is technically not what you're meant to do. So you're just meant to do a couple dashes of the absinthe, because absinthe is a very strong flavor. So I've done a teeny bit of the absinthe. Right, cognac. I'm substituting Armagnac, which is basically the same thing, just made by different people. 1.5 shots. Okay. 1.5 shots it is. Armagnac. Lillet Rouge, which I don't have, but I'm going to use this very nice Australian vermouth, which is a Rouge Vermouth, red vermouth. 1/3 of a shot, so not that much of it. A Rouge Vermouth rather than a Rouge Lillet. And what do we got? 1/6 of a shot of rye whiskey. So we just want a tiny bit of the flavor profile of rye. Just it's 1/6 of a shot is basically a splash of rye, just barely getting that rye characteristics in there, and 1/6 of the shot of scotch. This is my big Costco bottle of blended. This is actually a pretty good blended scotch. Just a huge bottle from Costco. So a splash of blended Scotch whiskey. A little bit of sugar syrup. My sugar syrup here is made of unrefined coconut sugar. It's got a really nice flavor in it. And 2 dashes of Peychaud's bitters. Peychaud's bitters. It's a Creole style bitters. This is a New Orleans drink, a Creole drink. This is from the dirty South. We are in the dirty South right now, people, and loving it, quite honestly. It's funny, Kate, you're saying, do I prefer whiskey or rum? And I say whiskey, but I have more recently. I've got 3 different sorts of rum behind me. I've got an overproof Jamaican rum. I've got white Bacardi, and I've got a Captain Morgan spiced rum. And I've also got a few rum derivatives like Falernum and the Brazilian drink Cachaca, which is kind of like Brazilian rum. It's made differently to rum, this thing. So someone who says he's not that into rum, I've got a lot of rum. Gecko, when someone says vermouth, you think the movie Groundhog Day with a twist. Cool. Strictly Seeger, going to watch Life of Brian. You enjoy that. That's a good thing. Oh, yeah, Frank's talking about absinthe being illegal. It was, if not outright illegal, it was fucking impossible to get for decades. Oh, wow. Jesus, that's interesting. All right. I'm going to put in this, which is, again, fucking ghetto what I'm doing here. Purists would frown at me for just pouring this into a big glass with a big block of ice. But I don't care. I just don't care. So it's a very brown color. It's which is hardly surprising. Cognacs tend to be orangey brown, and it's got 2 sorts of whiskies, which are also orangey brown. And I think it actually got darker because my sugar syrup is very, very dark, made from unrefined coconut sugar. It's a very sort of rich brown amber color. Smells nice. I suppose the dominant smell is probably the whiskey. The cognac, or I used Armagnac, doesn't smell that strongly. Actually, smell that, and then I'm just going to smell the Armagnac straight from the bottle. That's a very mild smell, but it's different. Yeah, the whiskies, the rye and the Scotch whiskey, are coming through in this, even though it was like 1/6 of a shot. Smells quite nice. L3, you'd buy pocket-sized brown rum. Yeah. Gecko, after this is all over, I expect to see you on 6. I'm not sure what that means. Fuck me, that's good. Oh, that's such a nice drink. Oh, that is really good. That is really good. So I suppose, what percentage alcohol is Armagnac? Oh, God, it's 40%. I thought it might have been less. Okay, so in terms of alcohol by volume, hey, mister, you can come in. In terms of alcohol by volume, this is averaging, how much of the vermouth did I put in? Because that's only 17%. Brain. Sazroy, vermouth. How much vermouth did I put in? Okay, only 1/3 of a shot. So this is, I don't know, this is close to 40% alcohol by volume. And God, there's nothing really. There's a bit of sugar syrup in it, and not a lot, like 1/4 of a shot. I might have put a bit more than 1/4 of a shot of the sugar syrup in here because I didn't measure it. I just went, that's 1/4 shot. So this is close to 40% alcohol by volume, but it's not sort of knock the top off your head. So now you did equal parts lemon brandy. I was saying gin, actually, but honestly, it's a fucking adventure. You could also do whiskey or vodka. I was suggesting equal parts lemon juice, brandy, and gin. But yeah. So Gecko, that's an old show about a TV series about bartending. Okay. Oh Christ, Al, what vintage of Armagnac would I say is best? Dude, I'm not that sophisticated. I am not that fucking sophisticated. I literally just buy something that I see on the shelf. This one is a VSOP Armagnac, Chateau de Turquet. VSOP stands for very special old something. But yes, okay, that's actually all in French. Is it all in French? VSOP is smooth, round, and powerful. Very fruity. It is a fruity aroma, supported by mellow notes of wood. Finish is beautifully long in the mouth. Lingering hint of macerated stone fruits. It is quite fruity, actually. Yeah, Al, I am not the sort of person who talks about vintages and shit, quite honestly. I am very rough in my approximations of stuff. When I bought this, I actually thought it was a cognac. There's a VSOP. I wasn't looking that closely at the label, and it's an Armagnac. And then I went, when I realized it was Armagnac, not cognac, I went, oh, what's the difference? And it's actually just from different regions of France. So it's a very similar thing. But of course, different distilleries are going to have their whole fucking different thing here. L3 tubes on second cup of coffee, fair enough. Al, you're saying 2008 was a great vintage, but oh, fuck, man. Here's the thing, Al. I have no idea if you're taking the piss. I have no idea. If you are a genuine expert, I respect that. If you are just taking the piss, I have no way of knowing that because I'm a fucking Luddite. L3, you had a 2011 red a year ago and it was good. Yeah, I don't really drink wine. I don't really like wine. I will on a very rare occasion. I have a port, like a fortified wine. Just have a little thing of port, sip away. That's very elegant. I like doing that. Now, Al, I believe. Okay, I'm going to believe 2008 was great in France. Most since 2012 or somewhat like it. I don't know that this one even tells me the vintage because this was probably just from Dan Murmur. I get my booze from two places. Either the mass market booze comes from the big chain called Dan Murphy's, or I get some specialized stuff from a bottle shop in the city I really like called the Wig Cellar. They have really unusual special stuff. I don't remember where I got this. L3, it was an Aussie wine you got in Holland. Not Australian wines are very good, apparently. All right, Al, it's easy. I don't think this even tells me what vintage this one was. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. No, this does not even tell me what the vintage is, which makes me think it's post 2015, and according to Al's convincingly expert estimation, possibly substandard. I'm not that into really. It's like, does it taste nice? Does it give me shit faced? Oh, Black Heart and Sparrows. Yes, Al. Okay, I love Black Heart and Sparrows. In fact, they tend to stock my favorite cider. My two favorite ciders are both Australian. There's sparkling cider. My favorite sparkling cider is called Flying Brick. Comes from the Bellarine Peninsula, just past Geelong. Their logo is a black cockatoo. And yeah, depending what your taste is, they do a sweet, dry, and draft cider. That's probably my favorite cider. And Black Heart and Sparrows also has a still cider, a non-sparkling cider that comes from Orange in central west New South Wales, which is around where I grew up. And it's fucking great. What's that called? I haven't had it for a while. Black Heart and Sparrows have it. They spell the cider with a Y. But yes, Black Heart and Sparrows is good. Yes, we're agreeing that Al is a wine genius. I think, what's it called? Okay, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to see if I can find it. This cider from Orange in Central West. Okay, fuck me. I'm all over the thing on my keyboard. Orange cider. Small Acres. That's the name of it. I think. Images. No, that is fucking wrong. Okay. Going back here. I think it's Small Acres. Show me a bottle, Small Acres. Order. Yes, it's Small Acres. Possibly my favorite cider is a still cider made by the Small Acres people from Orange in Central West New South Wales. It's fucking great. I haven't had it for a little while, but Black Heart and Sparrow tends to carry it. And it's fucking good. L3, you like Australian ginger beer? I don't like ginger. I'm not a big fan of ginger beer, or maybe a little bit, like I'm a ginger syrup in a cocktail, or a little bit of ginger beer, but like I don't like a Moscow Mule, which is really ginger beer heavy. I don't. It's like popular cocktails that I don't like. Anything with coffee, like an espresso martini, something that's ginger beer heavy, like a Moscow Mule or a Dark and Stormy. Or something that's got fucking Campari in it. Campari is my nemesis. Annette, you added soda to the drink, and it's good. Nice. Holy cow, Al, if I'm not a big wine fan, but I like unique sweet taste of Dofgrand Krieg. Oh my God. Good Lord. That, yeah, see, that seems a bit specialized for me, Al. I'm not sure. Hello from isolated Vegas, Nintendo Lunchbox. So good to see you. So glad I stayed on longer to see you. I've got a drink. Fuck, this is a good drink. The Sazerac. Fuck me. This is good. I really like this. Wow. Okay, so I've hit a couple winners tonight. I've made a couple of cocktails, and the Naughty Charles and the Sazerac are new discoveries that are really good. And the sumac martini that I've come up with was very good. Nintendo Lunchbox, early morning drinking. I fucking support that, bro. I am so on it. Gecko, you want Henry Winehouse root beer? I don't know if I like root beer. Yeah. I have this feeling I don't like root beer, but I'm honestly not sure. See, so I think you're saying ours are white. Okay, cool. Mega Leech, I will remember. Okay, thank you for looking out for me, Omega Leech. But I will remember them because I found them just by going on searching whiskey cocktails on the Difford's Guide. There are two websites where I get a lot of cocktail ideas. One is liquor.com and one is diffordsguide.com. I get a lot of ideas from both of those. It's on Difford's. Gecko, you think I like this? Henry Weinhardt's root beer. I'm not sure I've seen that. Let me if I can see if I can search that, see if someone in Australia carries it. Henry Weinhardt's root beer. Fuck, it's it. Fuck, what the fuck? Jesus. Trying to make me use a web browser is a really bad Weinhardt root beer. I thought it might autocomplete. Henry Weinhardt root beer. Root beer. You can get it off Amazon. Who makes Henry Weinhardt root beer? I assume Henry Weinhardt makes it. Root beer. Does someone in Australia sell it? Telling me to buy it off of Amazon. In Brisbane, Osberg. Okay. Henry Weinhardt is on but I thought Amazon suspended everything but fucking medical supplies. Amazon Smile. Donate to favorite charity at no cost to you. Leave me alone, Amazon. Leave me alone. Henry Weinhardt sodas, the root beer, with temporary juice product selection available for delivery. Improved selection, packed of 6 12 fluid ounces bottles. Gourmet root beer, sassafras, vanilla, and honey. I don't want to order a 6-pack till I try it. Do I sound like I am really drunk? Because I kind of feel like I am. Wah, wah, wah. Al, if you could like Botrytis Semyon, number one from De Botale. I see De Botale wines in Australia. So L3, you think the sassafras in that is nice, the root beer. I don't know, I have to try a root beer. I feel like I haven't had a root beer in a long time. And I have this weird thing in my head that I don't like root beer, but I've got nothing to base that on. Fun note, can take the booze and booze delivery out in the States. You can take it. Oh, we've got, they've relaxed some of the licensing laws in Australia. So some bars can do home delivery of pre-mixed cocktails, which is nice. Oh my fucking God, that's good. So I've had 3 big winners tonight, I reckon. Well, actually, I haven't disliked any drink I've made. I forget how many drinks I've made. But the three big winners were my Sumac Martini, Naughty Charles, and a Sazerac. Those were fucking great. And Frank, sometime, I don't know when. I don't know if I'll drink tomorrow. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But I will try a Dirty Frank, which is going to be a Naughty Charles with the Scotch swapped out for Jamaican rum. And we'll see what that is like. Stella, you've got a Votre Semillon. You like it and you hate wine. Ah, that is interesting. That is interesting. Annette, how likely do I think it is Boris spread Rona to the Murdoch clan? I hope so. Like I said, I'm not saying I've got a list of people I hope get the Rona and die, but on the list I don't have, Rupert fucking Murdoch is way at the top. Trump, obviously. Rupert Murdoch, Rudy Giuliani, Clive Palmer, fucking Pauline Hanson, quite honestly, and fucking Mark, what's his name? My brain's blanked out. Jerry Harvey. Frankie, you think I should do experimental foods on one live stream? I could do that. Al, if I'm going to go to dance, check clearance like port. I've got some port at home. Yes, buy soon because they're probably going to close. Yeah, but I went there the other day. I just realized I don't need anything. I maybe, if I look at my supply, because I got like this much Armagnac, I maybe should get some cognac, but I can just fucking substitute brandy because I'm not a fucking snob. I don't know that I need anything else because I got some tequila. Christ, I've got so much fucking alcohol here. Maybe some cognac, but I'm not a snob, so I'll just fucking substitute brandy. I've got some Vsop brandy. I'll just fucking have that instead of cognac. Because I'm not a snob. Just like, how much alcohol does absinthe have? That depends who makes it. L3 absinthe tends to be a high alcohol spirit. It tends to be at least 50%, and it's commonly 60%. This fine beverage, the people at Jacques Sirot, who despite the French-sounding name, it's actually a Spanish absinthe. They make a green absinthe that's 70% alcohol, a red absinthe that's 75% alcohol. This blue absinthe is 80% alcohol, and they make black absinthe that's 85% alcohol. There are a couple makers on the market that make an 85 to 90% alcohol. But a common alcohol by volume for absinthe is 60%. 70% is not particularly uncommon. 80% is a little bit uncommon, actually. Have the herbs. See, there's no law that says what absinthe has to have. The thing it's meant to have is wormwood, and the dominant flavor is aniseed, as in a licorice flavor. So the dominant flavor of absinthe should be licorice. But there's a whole bunch of spirits that are aniseed flavored from various places around the world. L3, you've heard Russian absinthe is rich. I've heard some people really go for Czech absinthe. I had a Czech absinthe I bought in duty-free, and it actually had herbs floating in it. It's the only one I've seen that had herbs floating in it. But it's meant to have wormwood, but the dominant flavor is aniseed, and it tends to be a high alcohol spirit. Like I said, the most common ones they sell that you see tend to be 60% to maybe 70%. Being over 70% is uncommon, but you can certainly get it. Annette, you have a lot of lemon lime and bitters as a mixer. Oh, Annette, seriously, just lemonade or soda water? Lemonade or soda water with lime juice or lemon juice or both and bitters is a fucking great drink. Lemonade or soda water, or even lemon soda like Solo or whatever. So just some soda, whatever you like, whether it's soda water, lemonade, or Solo, and a bit of lemon juice, bit of lime juice, bit of bitters. That is a very nice drink. That is a very nice drink. Lemon, lime, and bitters is great. Nintendo Lunchbox. No, I did not catch the Corey's doc because, in all honesty, it reeked of a scam to me, and I haven't seen any reporting on it. So all I can guess is it didn't say anything worthwhile. But the whole way that was marketed to me reeked of being a scam. Annette, you mean alcohol? Well, just add any alcohol. It's like, seriously, Annette, if you want like a long drink, a tall drink, just go like lemonade or soda water, lemon juice or lime juice, or actually even both, bitters, like a couple of shots, a couple of dashes of bitters, and put whatever you want. A bit of vodka in, a bit of gin in. That's what I'd go for, or even a bit of tequila. You can experiment, but a really nice boozy drink, a tall drink, yeah, lemonade or soda water, or possibly even like Solo, like lemon squash, lemon juice, lime juice, bitters, and then put a shot or two of vodka or gin or tequila. Pretty fucking good drink, quite honestly. The thing is with that thing, for anyone who doesn't know what Nintendo Lunchbox is talking about, it's Corey Haim who's talking about how, as a child star, he was raped by creepy pedophiles in Hollywood, which I think is absolutely true. I think the power brokers in Hollywood are fucking depraved animals. But the whole way he was like marketing his big expose fucking reeked of a scam, quite honestly. And I haven't heard anyone talking about it, so I assume he didn't say anything worthwhile. Because he can't just say producer X raped me without going to the police, because he'll get sued into the fucking ground. It's as simple as that. L3, you like warm sake? I haven't got into sake, honestly. Oh, Annette, the Corey film named Charlie Sheen. And I agree with you, not surprising. Not surprising at all. But I thought Charlie Sheen and the Coreys were about the same age. I think Charlie Sheen's older. Okay, I'm going to do Google. Let's do Google. Charlie Sheen age 54. He's older than me. Good on you, Charlie, for being old. Fucking pensioner. Why I can't use my mouse? That's so bad. Okay, so now we want Corey Haim age. Oh, he died. He's the one who died. 38. Okay. Feldman age. Corey Feldman age. He's 48. Okay, so they're virtually the same age. Like 6 years difference. That's what I thought. They were very close to the same age. I would have thought Corey Haim was more fucking exploited by the producers and whatnot in Hollywood. Okay, Nintendo, would you see the name produce? Yeah, the fucking Hollywood system is fucking corrupt and depraved and sick. It's kind of like, it's really weird. You get these weird right wingers and their ideology. They expect if you're on the left, you're going to defend Hollywood. Like, no. If you out someone as a predator and abuser, fuck them. Even if they were my favorite actor or favorite director or favorite musician, if they're a predator and an abuser, fuck them. Fuck them. The winner with tiger blood. Oh, God. Maybe I should get some sake because I don't have any sake. I don't have any Japanese drinks. Of course, the Japanese are very big on whiskey these days as well. And you do make a point. If Corey was 15, Charlie would have been 21, which is a criminal act. Absolutely. If something happened there. Maybe I should get some sake. One of the big things in Japan is like Japanese do whiskeys, sake, and plum wine or plum liqueurs are very big in Japan as well. Maybe I should. I've been getting more Australian stuff recently. Got a few Australian liqueurs and vermouths. That's so much. It's like 10:46. It's supposed to Saturday. No. Oh yeah, fucking hell, Stella. Fuck Kevin Spacey. He's fucking garbage. Kevin Spacey. And yeah, I would have, prior to having it revealed that Kevin Spacey was a creepy fucking predator, I would have gone like, yeah, Kevin Spacey, he's cool. He's been in a lot of great movies I love. But he's a piece of shit. He's clearly a piece of shit. He is clearly a piece of shit. We're talking about sakes here. Taste profile sake like whiskey, but wine drinking couldn't taste sake profile. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I've had sake at some places, and it's an ingredient in some cocktails, but I don't know. I do not. So yawning again. That's only my third yawn in 3 hours, so that's actually pretty good. Because I sometimes get quite uncontrollable yawns. Talking about, what are you saying? And 20-year-old guys getting ostracized for dating 16-year-olds, which they find it's creepy. And it's actually a crime if they're sexually active. But it was an interesting one. I remember someone talking to, who's he's the prominent gay activist in Australia. He's a QC. Can't remember his name now. Gone blind. Someone will possibly come up with it. Quite famous QC in Australia who's also a gay activist. He's much older now. But he was talking about, hey, some people are saying like in the 70s or 80s with the underground gay scene, you were probably having sex with underage guys. And he just said, which was honestly the truth, it's like, well, it was illegal for over 18 men to have sex together. So why the fuck would you care if you're in your 20s and someone may or may not be 16 or 17? Because it's actually no more illegal to have sex with him than to have sex with someone your own age. Ah, Christ, why can't I remember his name? Actually, I know why I can't remember his name, because I have been drinking the alcohols. Okay, I'm going to do some random Google searches. I think his name's Michael. Julian Burnside! Do I even want to tell you what fucking search terms I used to get Julian Burnside's name? But it was actually Julian Burnside I was thinking of. Yeah, he actually said in an interview, and people saying like, oh, you worried that like back in the 80s, you might have been having sex with guys who are underage. And he's kind of like, well, it was illegal to have sex with guys who were overage. So we weren't fucking checking anyone's ID, quite honestly. And there's a difference between not checking someone's ID and being a fucking pedophile who deliberately searches out underage people to exploit. But it's the thing when you criminalize adult sexuality, you push all sorts of other shit aside, which is why we should be a bit more fucking open with what consenting adults do, instead of trying to demonize something that falls outside, potentially a very narrow range of conservative ideas of what sex and sexuality should actually be. Frank, you're pretty sure you know the reason old men decided the consent for straight sex was 16. Yeah, well, and in different parts of the world, it's very fucking different. And if you want an eye-opener and to be a little bit disturbed, or maybe a lot disturbed, look up Child Marriage USA. There is a really significant problem with Christian groups forcing children to be married to people who are much older. It's incredibly fucking disturbing. And you've known a bunch of guys your age who were interviewed with far too young men in authority. Yeah, and again, it's the age thing is bad enough. Massive age differences are bad enough just with power imbalance. But when it's older people, whether it's men or women, who are in a position of power, who basically, woo younger people, whether the younger people are men or women, that's doubly bad. It's fucking doubly bad. Gecko, you want me to look at Gerald Dimmitt? I've never heard that name. I am about to go to bed, but I'm going to look up that name. Dimmitt. I've never heard that name. That's just showing up different Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts. Okay, is that an older guy? Because there's some images of the same guy. It's a slightly weird looking older guy. Oh my God, was he a scout? Oh, no. Is he a scout leader who sexually abused children? No. Fucking hate people in positions of power who fucking abuse. Plaint alleges that Dimmitt was Sea Scouting program, used groom boys. Oh, I fucking hate people who use positions of power to groom underage victims. Fuck. That's ugly as fuck. Okay, well, that was a really fucking depressing thing to end on. God, it's 11. Need to get to bed. Don't have to be anywhere tomorrow, but I stayed up with the stream last night, went to midnight. You actually want to go to bed now. I got to thank you fucking awesome people for being here. As per usual, it's great hanging out. I don't feel like I don't feel isolated. This is why I'm doing the live streams. And I have been doing them every day for the last week. I don't know that I'll do them literally every day, but I'm going to do them often because I think this is good for us all to hang out, to just hang out and interact. Because it's only, the first week or two of most of us being pretty isolated, and it's just going to get fucking weirder and weirder for me. We don't know what's happening in the next weeks and months. Who fucking knows? But you are all awesome, and it feels really good to hang out with you. Frank, laying off ladies. I said that on Twitter today. Hey, how horny are the single people now? Because no one's doing hookups because it's bad for disease control. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. It's very humbling that you thank me for doing it. I hope you all look after yourself. I need to stop because I'm just like pleasantly drunk at the moment. If I made another one, I'd be fucking shit-faced. and I might feel sick in the morning. L3, you're 1 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 p.m. So we're not that different. And you think the online apps are doing well? I don't know. I'm just fucking glad I'm not single, quite honestly. Being single sucks balls. Sorry if you're single, and I'm just highlighting that being single sucks balls, but I'm really happy to be in a long-term relationship. So stop using Tinder. So, well, I'm drunk. I'm available for sexting. No, I'm not. If I ever hit on someone, fucking slap me. I actually feel pretty good that for all my time on YouTube, I've never hit on people because I've been in a relationship the whole time I've been on YouTube. And if I ever flirt inappropriately or feel like I'm coming up, just fucking virtually slap me and say, no, you're actually in a relationship. Stop it. I don't think I would do it. But if I ever cross a line, and I'm like, inappropriate, if I'm inappropriately sleazy, what is appropriately sleazy? This is a mystery. Anyway, look after yourself, one and all. You're all awesome people. I'm going to go to bed. I will probably do some live stream at some time tomorrow. I might even do it in the afternoon, middle of the day to get different. I don't know. I'm not going to predict. I'm not going to try and predict anything. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we will just fucking continue. So look after yourself, one and all. I look forward to the next time we hang out. But until such time, I'll say bye.